first appearance in Las Vegas was 2 innings. He started that, so can he be an opener? Is that something that he can do? So the opener, remember the experiment that we had, can he be opening for someone and have Fires come in or something? Or I don't know. It's a weird strategy. We haven't done it in a while. So that was something that we implemented last year. They haven't done it much. And remember, David Forst, Billy Beane both mentioned it's something that they are probably going to be likely doing again this year. And we haven't seen it. Maybe this is what they've been waiting for, to see an AJ Puck and seeing Jesus Luzardo. They didn't expect Luzardo to be hurt again this year, but AJ Puck can definitely be an opener type guy. Now, referring to the bats, we all talked about left field last time, or this time, I mean, with Mark Canha succeeding right now. But do they need another good bat? Is Sheldon Neuse a good bat for this left field spot? Tremendously big time, yes. Now, Sheldon Neuse has played a little bit second, has played a lot of third in Las Vegas, and has somewhat been okay in shortstop. He's played shortstop as well. Now, has a great arm. He really throws well. Not too fast, so he can cover some ground in left field, but hits amazing in Las Vegas, like many hitters. 19 home runs, 82 RBIs, 318 batting average with a 386 on-base percentage. You got to be high on Sheldon Neuse's bat. Can you use him for a trade chip? Yes, you can use him for a trade chip, but you got to make sure that you are understanding that this guy is close to being major league ready. There's literally a lot of players right now that are showing you that, and it's going to be interesting to see what this A's team can do, what this A's team can utilize, because they have a great system. They have to be proud of the system. Jonah Heim is still knocking on the door, still batting 397 batting average in Las Vegas, hitting way better than what he was doing in Midland. Can he continue to do that for the Oakland A's if he does get the call up? Now, they would have to remove someone from the 40-man roster because Jonah Heim is not currently on that roster, but he is definitely someone that can bring in some good talent. Now, Stephen Piscotty just has been announced that tomorrow he's going to go under his rehab assignment. Piscotty, remember, we were afraid that he tore something, his MCL. So he is little by little coming back. He was focusing on hitting, focusing on what to do with that. So we got to be happy for Stephen Piscotty, because Stephen Piscotty has been important for this team, especially last year when we think of the big positive stories from last year. Piscotty was definitely one of those guys that really shaped things out. And after he got that knee sprain, and he was missing that month, he really gave Mark Canha some at-bats. But he has potential to hit 20 home runs. And last year, he hit 27 home runs, 88 RBIs. Really was important for this lineup and really helped out to really complete the whole lineup and what we're about. And hopefully he can bring that in for this season. So the right knee sprain seems to be not as serious. Remember, we had that scare for the right knee sprain that he got that game. He's important, and it's been a rough season so far. He had that cancer scare. He had that knee sprain that he had earlier too. It's been a rough ride for Piscotty right now. But let's talk about people that are in the 40-man roster list that are not currently with the MLB team. Paul Blackburn, Ryan Dole, Grant Holmes, James Caprillion, Andrew Triggs, and J.B. Wendelken are the ones that are not in the major league roster, and we can literally be happy about that because it's a lot of depth, basically a lot of depth of players that have that potential to do great stuff for these Oakland Athletics team. Now, position players. Hundley was just DFA'd, so we had what's his name? we have a pretty interesting, not updated 40-man roster list. So Hundley was just DFA'd yesterday. Bo Taylor is another one of those backstop catchers that are in the 40-man roster list. Jorge Mateo, Luis Barrera, Sky Bolt, Dustin Fowler, Nick Martini, Steven Piscotty, Jarrell Cotton, Marco Estrada, Daniel Gossett, and Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas. But Frankie Montas is not really in that list, but he is someone that is quickly going to be there. Now, what we talked about so far, what we talked about playing-wise, we have guys that are really big trade chips and going to be potential gets for this MLB deadline. The deadline has been very, very different. Very, very different as previous deadlines. They're not going to have the claim waivers trade. And hopefully they will see the A's that they're going to have to make some quick moves. The deadline ends in 5 days. It is going to be a crazy deadline. And we all know that the A's once in a while like to make big trades, once in a while like to make big moves, and it's going to be amazing to see what can happen in these next 5 days. We all have to have a phone next to us, and hopefully good moves happen to every team that makes a move. It works for both of them. But rumored wise, they had Noah Syndergaard and Marcus Stroman as options, and they were linked in to sources as potential gets for this Oakland A's team. Noah Syndergaard. Now, what is Noah Syndergaard for the New York Mets? He is a guy who is a top of rotation type of pitcher, but he kind of has a big injury history to him. Now, he is recovering from nothing right now, pitching 4.33 ERA and a 3.64 FIP. Now, the New York Mets are going to sell high on him. They're going to have to sell high on him because he's one of their best pitchers for the team. Getting paid $6 million this year and a free agent until 2022. So that is a lot of years of Noah Syndergaard, a guy who hasn't yet pitched above a 4.0 ERA. And if he gets a little switch of a team, he might pitch better and bring that 4.33 ERA down a bit. The strikeouts are still respectable. He's had a good amount of strikeouts before. Given a lot of homers up so far, not that much walks. So it's pretty. I mean, he has been given a little higher amount of walks as previous outings. So we got to see what Noah Syndergaard is about. What do you expect to give up? Now, that's the thing that I feel like the A's are not going to meet up to the Mets' requirement. The Mets are going to want top of the list talent, top of your organization's talent. The top four right now for Oakland, at least right now because it hasn't been updated, Jesus Luzardo, AJ Puck, Sean Murphy, and Lázaro Armenteros. Now, you can definitely add in Puason, the 16-year-old that we got from the international draft prospect. And you got to add the drafts. Logan Davidson probably is going to be in that top 10 conversation for the prospect. But let's go back to Robert Puason. Puason was signed for $5,100,000 on July 2nd. He's straight from the Dominican Republic. 16-year-old, 6'3", 165 pounds, shortstop, switch hits. He is basically a great prospect for the Oakland Athletics for years to come. And can he develop into being a standout and breakout type player? Definitely. I think he can do that. Now, do you add him for a Noah Syndergaard type thing? Maybe. You might do that. If the Mets want a young shortstop that is a 50-50 go, but he's going to be one of the hires 50-50 goes. But they do have a good amount of shortstops in their top 10 roster, or top 10 list. You got Shervane Newton, who is a young 20-year-old shortstop who is the 5th rated prospect. You got Ronnie Mauricio, someone who is in the top 100 prospects and also 18 years old. So he is very young. And you got Andres Jimenez, someone who's a 20-year-old that is expected to make his debut next year. So those 3 guys are all shortstops that are going to be in the top 10. So hopefully they have some contribution of the New York Mets, and they probably won't need Robert Puason unless they want to switch his position. But from what I'm hearing, he can play short. This kid has a great arm. This kid can field great with the best of them. So it's pretty unlikely that Puason is going to be included in that deal, or Logan Davidson. So what can we see? What can we expect for this? So Thor is most likely going to be a no, specifically because Luzardo and Puck are going to be untouchables. If I'm correct, Murphy might be one of those guys that we might move if we get a guy that can be for control and a top pitcher for this rotation. Murphy has some company in Jonah Heim. Josh Phegley has done great this season. Bo Taylor. We can get a catcher in the offseason next year or something. But Murphy is expected to be one of the better catchers defensively for years to come. But we just got to see if the bat can come to life for the big leagues. He has some pop. He can hit for power. So hopefully we can keep Murphy. I don't think I would do the Noah Syndergaard thing because one of those 4 would have to be in the deal, and I don't think they're going to be included in that deal. So I don't think Thor would be in that. Marcus Stroman, the other young gentleman who is linked in for the Oakland Athletics to get this deadline. Many people don't like Marcus Stroman for his size, 5'7", but he has proved that he can pitch in this league. He has more than proved, actually. 2.96 ERA in 124 innings pitched, 3.52 FIP, and has a little bit less of strikeouts, but he has cut down a little bit of the homers this season. He is not a free agent until 2021, so he has a whole 2 years left of this contract. What do the Toronto Blue Jays need? The Toronto Blue Jays are loaded in talent. We all know Vlad Guerrero Jr., Lourdes Gurriel is in that picture as well. They got Bo Bichette coming in soon. He's already in AAA hitting above a 250 batting average, so he's knocking on the door. He already has 9 homers over there in Buffalo as well. Nate Peterson, a really great pitching prospect as well, pitching below a 3.0 ERA in high A ball and AA. Eric Pardino, the Brazilian pitcher who's been tremendously great so far. He's a young 18-year-old that's pitching tremendously great, has great stuff and everything. And Groshans is going to be a very, very great player. I have high hopes of Groshans. So what do they need? The first out of the 4, two of the 4 have been starting pitchers, young pitchers. Can they keep adding these pitchers? That can be a possibility. Now, pitching-wise, the A's don't really have much pitching-wise aside from A.J. Puck and Jesus Luzardo. Caprillion is a question mark. Grant Holmes is a question mark. And Dalton Jeffries has been pitching pretty good, but he might not be the guy that Toronto might be great to sell high on. Outfielders, maybe. They can get an outfielder. We have some outfielders in Dustin Fowler, Sky Bolt. That might be a more reasonable approach to get what's his name? Marcus Stroman. Because in the prospect range, Anthony Alford is the only top 10 prospect that is an outfielder. But Marcus Stroman is going to be worth a little more. I think a pitcher is going to have to come in. If you want to use someone in the current rotation, like a Paul Blackburn or somebody, I guess you can go for it. But I doubt that the Blue Jays will be interested in that. The current outfielders that they have is Grichuk, Lourdes Gurriel, who's been pretty good, 18 home runs, 280.